G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about some rust treatment on the VT Commodore. So we'll go check that out, okay? So I've got the rear wing that I snapped. So I've got some rust I've got to take care of on that eventually, on both sides. Just where moisture's been getting in underneath for years and years. That's there. I've got a small patch down in here. Don't know what I'm going to do with that. Take care of that. Be good to have a little sandblaster. That would be excellent, but I'm going to have to do some investigating with that. A little bit up there. I've sort of put some treatment onto that one, but what's under this strip, not too sure. What have we got down? The windscreen on this side's pretty good. Come back to the engine bay. Got a little piece there I've got to look into, and underneath the window, or the rubber here, I've treated it, but I've got to pull this rubber out and get into that section there. And once again, if I had a sandblaster, that would be excellent. Probably can't see it that well. Trying to get the camera in one hand with the torch and a whole of that, so that's probably the best view. So under there, but what I've been doing firstly is the battery bracket, or the plate retainer, the base. That had some rust starting, I presume, from the battery leaking at some stage over the years. So I've got that out, cleaned it up, and about to clear coat it. A little bit of rust there, just bubbling under, a bit up there, and then once again, this panel here, I presume the brake fluid was leaking. Looking at that down onto here. So there's some surface rust I've got to take care of in under there. Once again, it's hard to see. I did treat it years ago. As you can see, there's that browny sort of, that's like a rust inhibitor type stuff. So I did slow it down a little bit, but got to go take care of that. What I used was this black ridge here. I've just got the air compressor, I'll show you in a second. That's the 10 kilo bucket I used of garnet. There's the measurements there, what I used. There, the gun. So you can see I've made an adapter, put a bit of hose on the end so I could reach further. That's just clamped on, goes down, and I just put another, I think I cut off a fitting, bit of aluminium I put into there. I used the wire wheels you can see over there. I used this little wire wheel, which probably was one of the best because it got into a really tight area, and that was on the Air Ryobi. Not that I'm sponsored by any of these guys. Air tool I used because it was nice flat round one. I could sort of get in there, I couldn't get the drill in there. I'll show you where I was in a second. The air compressor, let's go have a look. Okay, so 140, 2.5 horsepower. It's a 30 litre tank. I've had that since 2019, and it's done some hard yards for me. It's been really good. Once again, I'm not sponsored with them. So that's the air compressor I was using. Okay guys, so this is what I'm dealing with. It's going to be very hard to see. That manifold's a bit hot since I started up. So that's basically, you might be able to see that nut there, that's the worst of it. I'm hoping it's just surface rust and a bit of pitting. I haven't got the best light, but I think you get the idea. And try and get it as far in there as possible, and stop as much as I can before I put a converter back onto it. So there's basically a terrible before shot. I'll get another torch, see if that's any better. That might show up a little bit better. We'll give that a go. And might even try that in around there to get rid of that there. Okay guys, so I filled up the container about 3 times, and this section I was working on took me about 10 minutes. Doing a bit you can't see, so then just getting the air gun and blowing the contaminants away, and just back and forth working the whole area over and over until I got it where it was, most of it was gone basically. One thing I will say also guys, have the protection on, because this material goes everywhere. It's going to every nook and cranny. It took me, actually, when I finished, it still took me a few days off and on going back with the air and blasting more areas, the whole thing. End up washing the whole engine bay as well, but yeah, the shit gets into everything. I didn't video what I did, so what I can tell you is I did probably 90 to 95% removal with hard yakka tools, kept on at it and at it. Then I put vinegar over the top of it, left it for a few days to kill the rust. Vinegar, try and penetrate through some blistering. I had some pitting, rust pitting, so it was a bit more penetration into the metal. So where the metal wants to start bubbling away from itself. So then I use the sandblaster tool. Okay, so you've got to get it about that far away from the actual material, and with my setup anyway. And you can see here there was some sand pitting, some rust pitting in here. So I end up getting, I couldn't get the wire wheel into this corner, so I used the sand blaster on that, and also underneath was a bit. Don't know how good this light's going to show, but this is the area that I've shown you before I was working on. So some of the I don't know how good this is going to be. The darker areas. Where's the torch? I can't even see it through my own. Anyway, I'll bring you right in as best I can once I get rid of that. So this is where I had the tools that I could reach as far as I can in. And what it was I found out yesterday, it wasn't from the battery, this acid. I didn't even think of it. It was actually from the brake cylinder, the master, leaking down. And that makes more sense. So right up in there I couldn't really get any tools except a screwdriver, and that's where I had to use the smallest wheel I had, and screwdriver, spatula for hours, well not hours, probably an hour and a half or two in that particular area, and then got the sandblaster unit in there just to help with whatever I could. The seam sealer, I tried to get as much seam sealer out to see what was underneath. So now I'm just going to stabilize that again, clean it, and then I'm going to paint it. So I brake cleaned all where I'm going to paint, dried it all off thoroughly, got all the dust and contaminants off with the brake cleaner. New rag, then I went over with wax and grease remover. Okay, wax and grease remover. You can buy this in a spray tin or in the can. It is really good. If you don't use it and there's grease contaminants still, guys, trust me, you will regret not being thorough with your prep work. Okay, wax and grease remover, let it dry off a little bit. Then I use the rust converter, this one here, and it's like a see-through sort of black primer sealer. Gonna let that flash off for dry, and all I've got is this zinc guard here. So zinc helps put the stability back into some of the metal, apparently. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. That's what I've got to use, and that will be rust section number 1 fixed. After that I've got some others that you might have seen in the other video. As I was saying, I've just put the etch primer on, let the other coat tack off. I've sort of covered up the areas I don't want to spray. Hit where I've repaired here, a little bit underneath. Got to overspray, you can't help it. Get somewhere, and it's sprayed quite uniformed up in there. I'll take the camera up there, hopefully I can get a bit of a... So I've got a really good coverage. Don't want to go too heavy first one. I don't know if I'm going to put a second one on or just the white. Might put a second one this on. And yeah, it's a hell of a lot better. I've just got to put a plastic bag over that. I've drained half the fluid out because I topped it up yesterday. Just while I was waiting for different things, I topped it up. And just going around things, and then I saw a wet sort of area on where I've been working. What the hell? And that's when I thought, oh shit, I've just topped that up, topped the fluids up, just double checking, and so I had to draw some of that out, just pump some of that back out. But I'm going to get a plastic bag and try and cover that, because no doubt it's stuffed and it's weeping. This bracket's rusted through. That's that there just lifted up. That's about to break off. It's corroded, and I've done a tyre. I've got to get that tyre back up. So yes, anyway, I'll see if I've got some white paint to put over it as well.
One eternity later.
Brand new clunky hinge, door hinge. Okay. So that's it there. All nice. You can see maybe some, I don't know if it's going to show up, a little bit of like pitting where I've got the scale off, but I've undercoated it, etch primered, I rust killed as much as I could, so that should hold for a long time. And being white, I just respray it with what I had. Any rust coming through, of course, it's going to be stained, orange, brown, or whatever, black. And I'll just give it another hit if I need to. So it's come up a lot better. Bit of overspray. Had some rust pitting in here. A little spot up there, and a couple of spots here. I was able to get the sandblaster in there. It was pretty good. Let's try that. So I've got the battery plate or hold down bracket to go back in, and a metal strip to go in there. So let's get into it. Okay, so I got my parts all hanging up, all resprayed nicely. So that's all you do, just get as much rust off, kill the rust, and make them look brand new, ready to go back in. Okay, put that one there. So I'm going to put this bracket on first. Okay, so I'm not too sure what this bracket does, but I took it off because there was some rust I had to get to. So where did it come from? It went. I'll go get the bracket. I have got 3 bolts. Now I'll just put a bit of anti-seize or rust, what do we call it? An oil or a little bit of grease around there to stop them from, like anti-seize, that's what I'm trying to think of. So they're both, okay, they're both the same length. So I'll put one in there. And I'm missing one down the bottom now, but I'm going to put it in. Oop, and I've got the wrong size for that. Oh, great! Oh, great! Just what I needed. Drop it down into Devil's Triangle. Lovely. How would you be? Oh, look at that. It's stuck. It's stuck over there. I don't know if that's going to show up, but oh gosh. Unbelievable. Alright, take 2. I got that off. Got that to there. Always. Ah, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. Now it's gone down into the subframe. Oh, it just gets better. Okay, so we're done. This little repair on the battery holder, base plate. That's back in. Excuse my dog for huffing and puffing. Repaired a little bit of rust under that, surface rust. Did the whole bracket. Bits of rust on there, a few little dabs, but that was the main concern down in, if we can get a good view, that bottom rail that's freshly painted white. Trying not to get this light to flicker, I don't know if it's doing it, but yeah, that's a lot better now, it's all cleaned up. So it's all stabilised once again. For how long, I don't know, I just have to keep on it as you do. But I definitely got to take a look at that. I've got to pull that off. Because I haven't got it full, and I know that lock is stuffed. So whether it's contained it correctly, but it is leaking. Have seals might need replacing. Can see corrosion back there at that nut down there, so whether it's weeping from the seal that goes onto the booster, don't know. So that'll be whenever. That's not cheap. Just to buy the parts is like $100 and something just for the fittings, and you can buy the whole one anywhere from $200 up to, they want genuine, $800 just for the master cylinder, not the booster at all included. So that's good that that's all done. The engine bay now, that's pretty much rust controlled. I don't know what's underneath that plenum area, that plastic shield, but I will get to that. So the next thing that I'm going to do, as I've mentioned before, anyone's been watching, is a bit of rusting behind here. Gotta take that off, doesn't like being baked out in the sun. Down in there, gotta take care of that. In there. That there, where the wing was, where I busted off. That there. I had a little bit over the other side, I got a little bit of a chip to take care of there, and then I've popped that window rubber, and I've sort of treated it in there. It's not the best lighting, but I'm going to have to cut that out and weld a patch in there. That'll be the biggest part. Without that's the thing, when you're putting a cutting wheel in there, a grinding wheel or a little cutting wheel, then you're putting iron filings everywhere, and if you don't get rid of those iron filings, then they stick in the moisture, the humidity, then they rust, and then you've got the same problem again. So someone in the comments let me know how they do it. I was thinking of tarping the whole area and just having a small working hole there to try and capture any rust filings, if you know what I mean. Blowing them away with their compressed air, hosing it down. Surely they're still going to leave remnants that'll go down somewhere and start the same process. But anyway, till next time, thanks guys for tuning in, subscribing. Catch you on the next one.